YouTube, nickel and diamond it here. I was working on a project, which I'll show you briefly here. This is part of another vid that I'm making. Basically, what I'm looking at here is a tool that I use pretty frequently, actually, for a number of different uses, and I'm going to go through some of those. But I wanted to talk to you guys about kind of a review of this and kind of set up some parameters that I will evaluate for these tool reviews that I want to start doing as kind of a little short series. Tools that I find particularly useful and that I think maybe you need or maybe you don't need at all. But we're going to start today with the Wicked Laser Spider 3 Arctic. So this is a blue colored laser. This is a class 4 laser, so this is not a toy, this is not a laser pointer. This is not something that I would recommend getting your kid unless you are going to train them how to use it safely, and that's really, really important. You know, we use a lot of dangerous things every day, like driving a car. Well, that could be like a 4,000-pound missile if it was handled poorly. The way that we handle things safely, like these even, is we need to train people how to use them just like we train people how to use cars and to do so safely. So this is a class 4 laser, and that means that this is over 500 milliwatt output. For comparison, most laser pointers are going to be on the order of 5 milliwatts, and that means that this is about 100 times, actually more like 200 times as powerful on its highest setting. It is adjustable and things like that. So okay, we've kind of covered what exactly this is. It's something that's very, very handy. I use it for a number of different applications, and we'll get into that. But why on earth would you need something that, for all intents and purposes, looks like a lightsaber from Star Wars? Well, here's the short answer to that. This is something that I use as a tool, just like a screwdriver, just like a knife. A lot of people would say, why do you need a knife? This is personally one of my #1 favorite tools, and frankly the tool that I use the most out of everything is my little Benchmade here. It's a Griptilian with the D2 steel blade that I got on sale. Fantastic tool. We'll talk about knives on another day, but these are tools that I use. So this is not a toy, this is not some kind of macho thing. This is a tool that I use for constructive purposes, and that's very important. I want to really emphasize that. This is for constructive purposes, not for destructive purposes, because I can get a lot of really cool effects when I remove material using this particular laser that I couldn't get with a wood burning tool, because I just don't have the control like I do with the laser. The laser uses focused light, in essence, to do its work, and that I find to be very, very effective for the kinds of projects and the kinds of results that I want. So what exactly do I use this for? In most cases, I've been using this for modifying sort of softer materials like woods, plastics, things like that, doing engraving. I use this with some types of materials to almost get kind of an embossed effect. And I don't know if you'll be able to see the actual three-dimensional. Probably not on the camera, it doesn't look like it. I'll work on getting some better shots of that, but you actually get three-dimensional results from removing material with a tool like this. So I use it primarily on woods and plastics and things like that. It's not an intense enough beam to actually be able to use it on metals. Now, we've covered some of the uses. I also want to cover what is what I think kind of the value of a tool like this is. Cost-wise, I picked this up for a little under a couple $100. And mine I got used. I guess somebody had bought it for the guy for a gift or something. He didn't know what to do with it, didn't want it. Sold it to me, who happily picked it up. I've used this for countless different purposes. To me, this is an immensely valuable tool because it gives me the ability to do things creatively that I wouldn't be able to do any other way. So on my scale, this is a very highly rated tool and one that I use very frequently. Now, as far as durability, I've used this for possibly close to 100 hours now or so, and I've had really no issues with it. I've noticed the biggest difference when I use this with a new 18650, which is the kind of battery that this one takes. That's my personal favorite power cell. I've been using one of these that I picked up not too long ago, and this particular battery seems to be just absolutely fantastic. I can run this system for so long with this. I've really just not had issues. I've only had to recharge that battery once so far, and I've had it for months. That's how just good a battery this is. It does have some nice features aesthetically. It has sort of these crenellated caps on both ends. They are a little bit sharp, so if you're not careful you can kind of tear up your hands. But it has kind of a recessed safety switch at the back, which is nice, and it has a nicely recessed lens. This is the lens that I use most commonly. It's the focal lens. This is what gives me the best ablation power, which is the ability to remove material in a specific area. So as far as durability, so far it seems to be pretty good. It's pretty well made, especially for something that was developed in China exclusively. I've been really pleased with the results of this. On to the next one, which is comparable products. This one, in my estimation, really doesn't have much to compare it to. There are a few other handheld lasers that are similar in power, and there are some reviews elsewhere on YouTube of those, and I think all of them are pretty good. This particular one happens to be my favorite, which is part of the reason I bought it. I happen to really appreciate it aesthetically as well as functionally. It's something that again has immense value to me as a tool. You could get some of the same kinds of results, I suppose, with various wood burning tools and specialized tips and things like that, but that's a craft that I really haven't delved into and really don't plan to delve into, because I can get such good results for the kinds of projects and craft ideas and gift ideas and things that I have with these at present. So I really don't know what else to compare it to at this point in time. That may be subject to change. Also, there are a number of considerations that you need to keep in mind if you are thinking about a tool like this. A tool like this is legitimately dangerous. This is a tool that can only be used with appropriate safety gear. And even these particular glasses are not quite up to what I want them to be like in terms of actual protection. Their OD, or optical density, is not quite sufficient for my requirements. It is sufficient to remove much of the hazard of using these, but there are multiple people that have tested these and found them to be inadequate safety glasses, even though they're sent with the laser. One of the really nice features of this is you have different types of caps that you can add. This one is a full transmission cap. I'm trying to get the camera to focus, but it's just not cooperating here. So this allows many different kinds of patterns and dispersions that you can use, but all of these are going to be dangerous to your eyes. This is hazardous to your eyes as far as almost a quarter of a kilometer away. So more than 200 meters away, this can still do major damage to your eyes in just a fraction of a second. So this is not something that you should play around with, and not something that you should take all of these warning stickers lightly, because this is a class 4 laser. This is very dangerous. But if used properly with the proper training, again, you can get such incredible results. You would be amazed with the response that people have to a handmade gift or something like that, where you've burned something meaningful into some kind of a wood object, and you've made it specifically for them. You'd be amazed what that does in terms of being able to give people gifts and being able to encourage people and things like that through giving them something that you've made by hand. So all in all, despite the potential hazards of using this particular product, this is something that I do recommend if you're willing to learn